Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a video hyping up this Saturday's big fight, UFC 190. This is Beth. I'm going to screw this up because I've never even seen this chick fight before. Beth Correia going up against Ronda Rousey. Of course, Ronda Rousey being one of the biggest draws in UFC. But UFC, I haven't heard the number. Maybe it was because I was gone last week on vacation and I wasn't listening to Wrestling Observer Live every day about what the number for the Conor McGregor fight was. And I heard that it was supposed to do monster numbers, even though, you know, the Jose Aldo was pulled and it was replaced. It still, you know, was a big draw to see Conor McGregor if he was going to be able to live up to the hype that he had sort of put on himself. But with Ronda Rousey seems to be this chick in UFC that has just been overly dominant for every fight that she's had. UFC has been touting out the fact that if you add up her last 3 fights, Ronda has won these fights in just about 94 seconds, I believe is what they were saying. And to me, that's sort of like a fact that you shouldn't really be putting out there. I mean, you know, UFC asking for $60 to have this fight on pay-per-view. When you get down to it, 3 fights, that'd be if you bought all 3 of these fights, $60, $120, $180 you spent on a minute and a half of Ronda Rousey fighting. I know that Ronda Rousey is a big-time draw. You know, she's really hot. She's a really good fighter. But is the women's division really that strong that you put somebody in there against her, it's worth that money to throw down to see it? I know that they'll have an undercard. They'll have the free fights on Fox Sports and things like that. But you know, I know that people go out there and buy the Ronda thing, but I've had so many people at my work coming up to me and openly asking for a stream to watch this fight because of how dominant Ronda has been, that people don't want to be paying to see the fight because they know that the fight's not going to be worth their money at the end of the time. You can, you know, sort of relate Ronda Rousey to you know, Mike Tyson. I mean, Mike Tyson, when he was running through fools in the 80s, when he was one of the best fighters in the world before he ended up going to prison, and then, you know, he came back and he was still dominant, but there was guys that you could put in there that were really able to be better than Tyson. And maybe Tyson would have continued being one of the best fighters in the world if he hadn't had that prison deal for the rape charge, where he ended up having to go to prison for a few years. And then once he came out, you know, he's fighting against lesser quality guys, trying to build himself back up. And then once you put him in the ring against the Holyfields and things like that, that's when it went downhill. I know that, you know, with the fight coming up this weekend, a lot of people will be putting up there about Ronda Rousey's, you know, secondhand things that you know, have been in the news. Honestly, with Ronda, you know, at the McGregor fight, she was doing press and she was saying that her fight camp that she was going through is one of the best fight camps that she's ever done. She, you know, is in her top performance. You know, before the last fight, you know, there's people bringing up the fact that she had done, you know, the Fast and the Furious movie. She had been in the Expendables. She had just been doing press for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. You know, I haven't really heard Ronda Rousey really doing anything secondhand other than promoting UFC since WrestleMania. And I know that people are really looking forward to see if Ronda is going to be in a WWE ring come next April for WrestleMania 32, either in The Rock's corner or maybe getting in the ring against Stephanie McMahon. But UFC 190 is her next big appearance. It's going to be, I can honestly tell you that I was you know, going through the UFC's Twitter, and they put up some fights of Beth Correia fighting against the 4 Horsemen girls with Rousey, you know, beating them off one by one to become the new open #1 contender. I know that Miesha Tate won her fight on the fights last Saturday, so she's the new #1 contender that's going to fight Rousey if Rousey wins this one. If Rousey loses, then she'll have to get her rematch, and Tate will have to wait for that. But we'll see what goes down Saturday, UFC 190. Ronda Rousey, is it worth the money?